Welcome back, everyone. I am your host, Lawrence, over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and today we're doing another room tour. I haven't done one of these in quite a while, almost a year ago to be exact, but I have added some new things to this room, gotten rid of a lot of things, believe it or not, and also have added some new books, some which you are going to see today, and some, unfortunately, you are not. But besides that, guys, if you enjoyed some of my content in the past and you're not a sub of the channel, do yourself a favor, hit that sub button, smash the like button for me because it does help the channel out. And again, I want to remind you, everything in this room is an ode to what I grew up with, who I am as a person, and what I collect to this day. So let's get into it. So it's been a bit since you guys have been in this room, and as you can see, there's definitely a few pieces that I haven't had before. We're going to start off with the chair, of course, and the pillow featuring Mighty Comics and Collectibles logo, that ASM 300 homage, of course. But let's get into the real deal. We'll start with my original art collection, just a few pieces. As you guys can see, the top two are the homages, the recreations of the covers, Amazing Spider-Man number 129 and Incredible Hulk number 1. These were done by a good friend of the channel who's an amazing artist and is doing the 10,000 sub giveaway. Below that, of course, are two pieces of original art from books that have been published. Let's start off with the one on the left. It is from Amazing Spider-Man number 13, the modern run. This is story page number 9, done by John Romita Jr. and Scott Hanna. Over on the right is a page out of Spectacular Spider-Man number 247, story page number 7. Let me throw it up on the screen so you guys can see what book it's out of. But again, I love Luke Ross's style. That's who did the art on this piece, but an amazing artist and an amazing page. Then some more recreations, of course. We have an Amazing Fantasy 15. That one actually is a print, the only print I have in my collection. We have an Amazing Spider-Man number 41 recreation as well, one of my favorite John Romita Sr. covers, and a Superman 1, which was gifted to me by the artist himself. Above that, of course, is my Amazing Spider-Man Raw collection. Now, this is only part of it, of course. I have 1 through 301, and only, I believe, 3 issues or 4 issues out of the whole thing is Slab. Here, 2 through, I think, 252, a majority, if not all of the keys. Then, of course, below that, we have my Tony Stark arc reactor, next to my Incredible Hulk number 1, signed by the great Stan Lee himself, and then this massive Sideshow Hulk statue. Now, I bought this thing off of eBay a while back. This is my favorite Hulk statue that I could find, so getting it for a deal was absolutely imperative, and I think I paid like $650 for this thing. Believe it or not, I think new this thing is over $1,000, so I think I got a pretty good deal on this one. Then, of course, you guys can see my Masters of the Universe Origins collection. I'm a big Motu fan. I have most of the original line loose, and I wanted to collect the Origins line to match it. Now, these are all mint on card, of course, and only feature the mainstays from that line. They came out with a lot of new figures over the past year and a half or so, which I am not collecting because I don't remember them being in that original line. Then, of course, you can see where I film most of my videos, my workspace, nothing great here. But here is a new cabinet that I did add to the collection, just to add some of my most prized possessions in my collection. Let's start off with this Nintendo cabinet. That's what I'm calling it, this portion of this thing, featuring my Zelda number 1. All these 3 here are loose graded video games. Zelda, of course, in a 6.0, Super Mario Brothers in a 7.0, and a Metroid in a 7.0 as well. 3 of my top games that I played when I was a kid. Behind that, you're going to see the Nintendo Entertainment System action set, which is complete. Now, below that, of course, are 2 of my favorite books in my collection, 2 signed books as well. First one is Amazing Spider-Man number 50, signed by John Romita Sr. and Stan Lee in a CGC 8.0. Then, of course, over on the right is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 39. You guys know it is my favorite cover of all time, again signed by John Romita Sr. and Stan Lee in a CGC 5.0 with a Spider-Man label. Behind that, guys, is one of my favorite pieces of memorabilia in my collection. Believe it or not, it is a collection of newspaper strips done by a collector back in the 70s, right out of the newspapers from January 3rd, 1977 to January 1st, 1978. Now, he did put this thing together himself in a binder, put all great pieces of artwork together with this thing to make a full collection. And he sent me a wonderful letter when I purchased it saying how he put this thing together as a kid and has cherished it his entire life and wanted wanted to pass it along to someone who would enjoy it as much as he did. And of course, we had a great back and forth conversation about Spider-Man, so he was happy it was going to a good home, but just a great piece. Then to the right of that, we have some mint on card Thundercats, Lion-O, and Mum-Ra, two of my favorite characters from that TV show. Again, the 80s was the best time to be alive, and in front of those, of course, are He-Man and Skeletor complete on Battle Cat and Panther. Above that, we just have some knickknacks, including my Garbage Pail Kids collection. I have series 1 through 8, believe it or not, complete, along with my Atom Bomb PSA 8, and of course my own GPK card, Mind Blown Mighty, which I do have a few still for sale. You guys are going to see some GPK 5x7 cards from the original series. I have about half of those. And then of course I do have a Contra sealed NES game that's graded by CGC in a 7.0. How could a room be complete without a rug to bring it all together? Here is my Captain America Mad Bomb cover rug by the great Jack Kirby. My wife purchased this thing for me when we first met. One of the coolest pieces in this room. Then of course we have one of my mantras: success is never owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every day. Above that is a more recent pickup. It is a signed print, of course, featuring the classic Nintendo game, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, signed none other by the great Mike Tyson himself. I thought this thing was really cool, considering if you're a big NES fan, Nintendo fan like I am, very cool piece to add to anyone's collection. And of course, we have a small little homage to my dog who passed away a couple of years back. Love you, buddy. Then of course, we get to my arcades. At one point in my last room tour, I had 5 arcades in this room. I have narrowed it down to 2, both of them being mods. The first one being a Terminator 2 that I've modded with a retro shooter unit. So not only does it play regular games, it does play shooting games as well. Then of course, we have my other modded machine. It is called Boney's Arcade after my late dog. This arcade features 16,000 games, featuring a ton of different systems, and of course you can see my dog mixed in with Mario, Link, Donkey Kong, Metroid, and so on and so forth. Right next to that, we have this little nook featuring a bunch of different things. It houses some of my short boxes, some trade paperbacks, but behind that you can see some of my Spider-Man retro figures that I collect. I have all the major villains that have been released. I do have some smaller posters that I've had since around the early 2000s, Iron Man, and of course, The Dark Knight. Above that is some original art by the late great Neil Adams featuring a Jack Kirby Hulk. Then to the right of that, some more Spider-Man retro figures, Kingpin, the Rhino, and of course, Venom. One of my favorite statues in my collection is this Sideshow Venom Spider-Man maquette. If you're a big Spidey fan or a Venom fan, again, this one is an affordable, large statue, roughly around $650. And you could see some signed slabs behind it, ASM number 129 and ASM number 300. Now we get to my big case that I have, and you guys see all the time in my videos. As we get a little closer, the top right-hand portion of the case features all of my loose Masters of the Universe collection. I almost have every loose figure complete. I don't have some of the figures towards the end of the line, and I'm missing Scareglow and the Sorceress complete because they're rather expensive. To the left of that is a giant book in my collection. It is Action Comics number 12. It is complete, and that is a reproduction cover. If you guys don't know, there was a snippet in this book featuring the first ever published picture of the Batman. So that's why I own this book. A very hard book to find. I was able to pick it up for a steal off of Shortbox, believe it or not too long ago. You're going to see towards the left of that book is something that is blocked out. It is a new pickup to my collection that I don't really feel like showing off just yet. The Mighty membership level membership, you guys, if you are that, you have seen what that book is, but it's something I'm holding a little bit close to the vest right now. Below that is my Batman number 1. You guys see this in all of my videos. Next to an incredible Heath Ledger Joker statue. This thing is so detailed, absolutely incredible if you're a big Joker fan. And then we have a Hamilton Gift Joker that you don't see too often. Next to that, of course, is my Detective Comics number 31, one of my most cherished comics in my collection. It is a CBCS 5.0 restored. Next to an absolutely insane Frank Miller straight out of the Dark Knight Returns statue. Absolutely beautiful. As we scroll down, you'll see my Amazing Fantasy 15 along with my Amazing Spider-Man number 1 and another Hamilton Gifts Spider-Man, which I have had since I was about 8 or 9 years old, and a smaller Spider-Man Secret Wars figure as well. But again, you guys know I'm a big Spidey guy, so I house my 2 biggest Spidey books together. Then to the left of that is my Superman #1, my NG restored. The front cover is actually a reproduction, but either way, it's an affordable Superman to me, so I just wanted to own the book, so I did not mind that with a Superman statue, and again, another toy that I picked up from New York Comic Con a few years ago. All in all, guys, a small room, but I was able to configure it in a way where I house a lot of the stuff that I've cherished my entire life. Hope you guys have enjoyed this room tour, and like always, comment down below and let me know what you think.